I thought slavery was history until I stood here today.
These shackles and chains, they are over 500 years. These are the original shackles and chains that were used on our forefather back then in the 14th to 15th century.
In 14th to 15th centuries, Badagry is one of the major slave ports in West Africa.
From old Oyo Empire, ruling from Oyo down to Dahomey, that's Benin Republic, slave brought to interland. Interland I'm talking about Oyo, Ekiti, Ibadan, Ondo. Badagry have a link road for all those white people like Portuguese, British, Dutch, and Spanish. Badagry have the largest slave market in the whole West Africa.
Everything I've heard about slavery wasn't really clear to me until I saw it for myself today.
European giving our forefather a bottle of whiskey in exchange for 10 human beings. Now, some people say, are you saying the people of that time, they are not wise? They are wise. What they're trying to do is that just to ridicule you, that you will be sold for peanuts. I will tell them more than you, and I'm going to sell you out for just a bottle of Coke or anything that is lesser.
That means they give up people to like fight each other to.
Yeah, that's it. Because of our greediness. Some of us are so greedy, and up today it's still happening today.
This is Badagry, a place where it all happened. From here, thousands of Africans were sold, shipped across the ocean, and never allowed to return. This is the history of Badagry slave trade.
Solomon, if I tell you that I'm Kofi, can you tell me where I come from? Have you ever heard that name before? Kofi.
Kofi. Yeah, I've heard the name.
I just guessed.
Jamaica.
Jamaica, no. African venue. Okay, but if I tell you that I'm Okeshuku.
Yeah, that is Igbo.
How do you got to know that?
That is their name.
Names, that's the Igbo name. So we have a name that tells story, history called direct. Through your name, somebody can look at it. What's your African name? Or don't you have one?
Yeah,
what's the African name? Ayo. You're a Yoruba man. You see now. So if I tell them Kofi, you can trace me down to Togo or Ghana. Our name is so unique and have a kind of direction. Somebody can locate you through your name. So when people come to around, I tell them, please, let us give our children our Africans' name. There is nothing wrong with our name. These are the original shackles and chains that were used on our forefather back then in the 14th to 15th century. We call it neck collar chain that they wore on the neck of the enslaved African. And the chain used to come out with some torture equipment that I will be introducing to you step by step. Now, let me start with the children chain. This is for the hand of the children, and this for the leg. They join their two legs together, they'll lock it. Then this is for their two hands this way, they lock it and put them aside for them not to disturb their parents while they were busy working on the farm or on the plantation.
You're welcome to this compound called Brazilian Barracoon. Barracoon means slave cell, slave storehouse, where they store slaves in those days awaiting the arrival of the slave masters to come and buy them and take them away. And why it was called Brazilian Barracoon is because the master who taught this man was a Brazilian. Now, this man himself was once a slave. At a very tender age of 6, he was captured and sold into slavery. But the birth name given to this man by his parents is Ifaremleku. How come? His name changed from Ifaremleku to Chief Seriki William Sabas. Slave doesn't have name. They bear their master's name. Now, this man needs to work at home because they made him domestic slave. The first master who bought him at a very tender age of 6 is Abbas. Abbas bought him and took him to Dahomey, Benin Republic today. And from there, there's another man who used to come all the way from Brazil. Anytime he come around, only such gentle boy, then you have interest in him and demand to buy him from the master, Mr. Abbas. Mr. Abbas now resold him to Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams bought him and he took him to Brazil. And in Brazil, Mr. Williams taught him how to read Arabic. I mean, he sent him to school. He even taught him the slave trade business. After many years, he has stayed and lived with Mr. Williams. One day, Mr. Williams called him. Mr. Man, come. I want to give you your freedom. But on one condition. What is the condition? The condition is that if we free him, send it back to his country, Nigeria, He be doing the running around his master supposed to be doing. He accepted and was sent back to Nigeria with the help of his master. And he came down to Badagry, he bought this land and built this compound of 40 slave cells. 40 slave cells inside this compound. And each of the cell, they kept 40 slaves in each of the cell. That gave a total number of slaves kept in this compound to be 1,600 slaves kept in this compound. Leave the shore of this country through this slave port outside here, across the lagoon, called Lagos Porto Lagoon, then to the island called Berefu Island. From there to point of no return. Then from point of no return to unknown destination. Because the slaves, they don't know where they are taking them to. It's only the slave master that knows where they're taking the slaves to, but the slaves, they don't know.
Let me start with this. We call this branding iron. This branding iron have at least 4 functions or 3 functions. The first function, if I'm iron slave, my name should be iron because slave have no identity. They bear their master's name. So they put inside the fire, they will heat it very well. When the tip turn from here to here, turn red. When I say red, hot iron, they draw the upper lips and then they perforate. After the piercing of the upper and lower lip, before they will fix the padlock on their lips, they just have to draw the 2 lip from this. We call this mouth clip or mouth guard this way. They will now fix the padlock on their lip because for some reason communication is not allowed. The reason why they don't want to communicate, they have seen that these black people were so strong. If these people communicate, they will plan among themselves and revolt. Those enslaved Africans, they were so smarter. Had they been, since communication is not allowed, they came up with some tactics. We call it pattern, juba, humble, like a kind of
sign.
they were using that body language like a kind of choreography movement to pass message to each other. Or sometimes the women braid their hair, we call it cornrow on their head to pass message. So they are enslaved also convinced. These black people, how do they communicate? They also use this on them. We call this one iron muzzle. M-U-Z-Z-L-E. They also use this one to cover their mouth. But the one that is worse is when they now pierce the upper lips and lower lip with red hot. And though some people compare tattoo with branding, it's a different thing. Second function, there's some slave called fugitives. Who are the fugitives? Those are the runaway slave. Those that try to escape. Today you want to run, tomorrow you want to run. The master will say to bring the slave. They will now put his toe this way on something. Then this will be fixed direct here between the big thumbs. Then the other enslaved Africans have to stay aside to view. Now suddenly they will hammer you down on the toe, or rather they will use an axe or a cutlass. They chop off his toes so that he will not be able to run or escape again. Thirdly, any stubborn slave, like look at that guy covering his face, so that statue there covering his face. Can you see him? It's not as if he is ashamed of the shackles and chain. He is a stubborn slave. For him not to conscience tie or to awaken other enslaved Africans, the master used this to plug out his 2 eyes so that other slaves have to obey order. That if you guys refuse to obey order, this is what will happen to you, even though they open the wombs of the pregnant women at the presence of other slave to serve an example that if you don't obey order, this is how you end your life. Now, this is another crazy one. We call it torturing. As you can see, like you see, my hand cannot go through this. So that's to say they have to break the bone. Okay. After the breaking of the hand, they'll force it down to the wrist here. Now look at this knot. The knot has melted because the shackles and chains, they are over 500 years where we are not being born. They will lose it. They will now ask him to stand on a platform of this 3 feet height. Then there will be a taller tree of this height. They will drill a tiny hole from here to the other side of this size. They will fix inside. They will now return the knot. After returning the knot, they will drill the platform where he or she was standing. Now, I want you to imagine all your body weight. This will be suspended on here. If it is 2 hands, it's balanced. Although is he going to go to pay the one hand? And while doing this, they let other enslaved Africa stay aside to watch. They're just trying to instill fear into them. And if they died along the process, no case. Now, the beauty of the museum is this. I'm going to bring these shackles and chain down for you guys. You put it on your neck so that you feel the pain. Now, let me break it down. Will you first feel it with your hand? One hand. No, use one hand. I think this shackle should be like a 15 to 20 kg. Imagine wearing this on human's neck, not an animal, human. And they even wore this under the scorching sun. It will absorb the heat, and the heat will be burning their neck. And after many days, if they remove it from their neck, they can never be the same. It will deform them because the chain is so heavy on them. Okay.
Because of the kind of currency we spend and use in those days, we spend cowrie, yellow salt Manila. Do you know Manila?
No, I know.
You didn't know Manila, because you know cowrie. Okay, I will show you cowrie. I will show you Manila today. But mind you, again, you know that we are still spending cowrie and Manila in Nigeria.
No.
You don't know? You are here to learn, and I will show you something. You have 100 now notes, because this is for me. Look at it. Come on, come. Look here.
That's correct.
What was supposed to be here? Normally, what's supposed to be here? You're supposed to write 100 now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And here, you're supposed to write 100, but this is Manila.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, if we have these two at this age, that means we are still spending these two currency in Nigeria. All these currency are not valued in international market. That's why European master come about what we call bargain power, trade by barter, exchange of good with goods, exchange of property with properties. So they come about bringing their own product to Africa, like umbrella. Umbrella is the value of 40 slaves. 40 human beings for one umbrella. A bottle of gin, 10 slaves. A bottle of wine, 10 slaves. The long cannon gun, 100. The short one, 40. Mirror and the bead, depending on how you bargain, but I guess is 10. And the ceramic bowl is for 10 slaves, while the dang gun is for 40 slaves. Now, the kettle and the brass dish was a gift given to him after he accepted Islamic faith.
When they came to Africa, they now said they can't do business with our father with this kind of money. They should do trade by barter. So imagine European giving our forefather a bottle of whiskey in exchange for 10 human beings. Now, some people say, are you saying the people of that time, they are not wise? They are wise. What they're trying to do is that just to ridicule you, that I'm going to sell you, you will be sold for peanuts. That's what really happened. That you are trying to drag with me, I will tell you I'm more than you, and I'm going to sell you out for just a bottle of Coke or anything that is lesser. So that's what really happened back then. He is a castrated slave. Why do they have to castrate the men? Now, I think Brazil is the second populated blacks in the whole world after Nigeria. We have blacks in Georgia, Cuba, South Carolina, Mississippi. But the reason why we don't have much in the Arab world, the first slave trade began by the Arab. We call it trans-Saharan slave trade, which started for 17th century. Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco, Libya, you see today, were owned by the people called Kush, Nubia, Kamite. The first pharaoh of Egypt was a black man. Their wives are called Nefertiti. Now, today, if you get to Egypt, you realize that it was a white Arab ruling. What happened to those black pharaohs? In the 7th century, we call it the jihadis. They invaded Egypt, they massacred, they slaughtered most of those blacks along the axis. They gave them Islam. That's how Islam came into Africa. Most of their men were being castrated and they die like chicken. That's why we don't have much of Afro-Africans in Arab world today, because they castrate majority of their men for them not to have a sexual intercourse with their master's wife.
This company is established in 1840s. 1840s, this company is established. Now, they said they should keep two slaves down so that people can come and see the pains and the agony for our forefathers in those days. So can we go in and see the cell we're talking about? Another thing we have said the cell. So this, let's go in and see the cell where they kept 40 men. 40 men inside this place. Look at the small window, no ventilation. Mind you, they defecate here, they urinate here. And that is why some of them suffocate inside here and die because of the heat and the odor.
The man buried here died October 16, 1893. His name is Chief Sumbo Mobi. His father, Bordeaux, who facilitated the trade. But this, it got to a level, I think 1807, the British have to abolish slavery in their territory. So they started campaigning against that. All that countries should stop the trade that they began. 1852, this man sat with the British to sign the treaty for the abolition of the trade. Now, this is when they signed the treaty for the, I told you, Amobi family was part of the people that who sat with the British to sign the treaty. So this is the document to back it up. I can see the name of all the high chiefs that signed the treaty for the abolition of the trade right here in Badagry. Now, this is a market called Flekete Slave Market. Flekete Slave Market established 1502. Every market, the 300 enslaved women were being sold out of this market. A year, just do the calculation, and according to UNESCO, about 25 to 30 millions Africans were being taken away as slaves. I've said this before. And this is their drinking bowl. The reason why cup is not included, why they were taking the water, simply because they always tie their hand at the back this way. Now, 20 of them have to surround this bowl. Yeah. They have to wait for order. And the order goes, apes obey. Here, let's go. They go. But their hand always tight so that they'll not be able to fight back. They go again. Now, as they are consuming, the water will be what? Reducing. So while they were taking the water sometime, if you put your hand here, see how this thing used to cut them, blood will enter the water, mucus. The next slave have no choice. They have to take the water with blood and mucus. If they refuse taking it, till next day, because water is once in a day. So you're welcome. Once again, my name is Cornerstone, or you call me Kofi.
So yeah, we are walking to the boat now. We are going to the other side to the point of no return.
Learning the history, we take a boat to the other side of the lagoon. This crossing leads to the point of no return, the last ground enslaved Africans ever touched before saying goodbye to Africa.
You are welcome to point of no return, and this is the entrance of the point of no return. You know, during the olden days, we call this island point of no return, but there's no more point of no return again after the abolition of slave trade. From old Oyo Empire, ruling from Oyo down to Dahomey, that's Benin Republic, Badagry have a link road for all those white people like Portuguese, British, Dutch, and Spanish. And this is the root of the slavery. You see still is a signboard of the Badagry slave route at that site. And after that, the second point is talking about the wealth used to give our slavery that time is African concussion. Is our chief in Badagry, not only Badagry, starting from old Oyo Empire down to the Badagry. Slave brought to interland. Interland I'm talking about Oyo, Ekiti, Ibadan, Ondo, down to Badagry. But Badagry have the largest slave market in the whole West Africa. And slave must walk on the route. Let me show you the route. Let's go. This arc represents the entrance of the what? You can see the status, the artwork represent the way of what? Of slavery. Yes. After the abolition of slave trade, people migrate and settle down on this earth. And this island, the name of this island now, we call it Berefu Island. You can see it up. We call it Berefu Island. And these are the people that live on this island. Let's go. The signboard I'm talking about, we call it Badagry slave route, journey to unknown destination. And this is the route of the slavery during the olden days. There's no houses. That's why I told you nobody lived on this land before the abolition of slave trade. And this is a well I'm talking about. The name of this particular well, we call it original spot, slave spirit attenuation. When the slavery moved down to this island, slave must walk from that route down to this middle. This is the last water slave must drink before they continue the journey to what? The final destination. The final destination I'm talking about, you know, the bigger ship waits at the middle of the sea. slave must drink water here before moving down to the final destination. Not only Nigeria, talking about the story of this world, we have one in Dahomey, that's Benin Republic. We have another one in Ghana and Senegal and Cameroon. All those countries that link to Atlantic Ocean, we have point of no return. Like, not only we have 2 coasts in Nigeria, every other country have one. It's only Nigeria have 2, Igbo and the Yoruba. This one belongs to Yoruba land, and that one belongs to Igbo land. We call it a young slave market, established 1810, but the Badagry established 1502. But before the Portuguese came to West Africa, slavery started around 10th century in Africa. But in documents, we just write it 1502. You spend about maybe 10th century before documents 1502 in slave markets. If you want to hear the story of slavery, you started in Nigeria entirely. You started with Oyo Empire before you trace it down to Badagry. You know, the major market of slavery, you can't find it inside the Oyo Empire. You find it in Badagry because of Atlantic Ocean. Thank you so much. Let's continue the story.
After about 15 minutes walk, we finally get to the point of no return. This is the final destination for slaves. Anything from here, it's goodbye to Africa. Majority of the slaves sold here never returned back to Africa. This is the point we lost so many of our identity.
At this point, this is the final destination for slaves. Any slave that come from Badagry to this place, no more going back. This is what they call point of no return. This is the final destination. This is where they separate the husband from the wife.
From here, all enslaved Africans were transported to where was called unknown destination. It was unknown because they never know where they were going.
Anything from this Atlantic Ocean, that is bye-bye to Africa. So it depends on where they are taking them to. Some they transfer them to Europe, like Portugal, Brazil, and other. Standing here today, and after I heard all the story tell me about the slavery, the way our people sold us out, I realized that slavery doesn't end. It just changed its form. There are some people in power that still sell Africa resources out there cheaper than are supposed to be. So until today, we are still enslaved mentally. Because we Africa, we are so rich in resources, but we are very poor in control. There are some power somewhere that still decide how we use our resources for us. They sanction most of our natural resources. After we mine our stuff from Africa, they will tell us where we can sell to, and how to sell, and when to sell, and where we can sell to, and who we can sell to. So I feel like there are still those power that still ruling in Africa. We lose so many things from this point of no return. Can you think about the pain in people's hearts when they are moving them out there?
Coming here today, I realized something difficult. Slavery existed in Africa long before the Europeans arrived in 14th century. During wars, the stronger kingdom enslaved the weaker ones. That is how slavery started in Africa. And to my final conclusion, we Africans sold ourselves out. Come to think of it, slavery haven't ended in Africa, it just changed its form. These chains were removed from our body, but not from our system. Today, Africa is rich in resources, but very poor in control. Our minerals are extracted cheaply, laborers are underpaid, our debt keep growing, and decisions about our futures are not made from here. When you grow up thinking poverty is normal in a land full of resources, something is wrong somewhere. that we don't know. We didn't just lose people here. We lost our power, our dignity, and most of our identity. Yes, the ship left, but the system remained. Who benefits when a rich land stay poor? Tell me, who benefits when a rich land stay poor? If you enjoyed this video, kindly subscribe, like, share, and see you in the next one. One love.